doing basketball. So in basketball, the basic requirements to play a game is two teams, each team with five players and seven substitutes. So that's 12 players in total. The circumference of the ball should be from 75 to 78 centimeters, and the weight of the ball should be 600 to 650 grams. In the game is distributed in four parts. So there is a 10-minute quarter, then 2 minutes rest, 10 minutes quarter, 10 minutes break, 10 minutes quarter, and then 2 minutes rest, and yeah, 2 minutes for rest and 10 minutes last quarter. Then the officials of the game are one referee, one umpire, one scorer, one timekeeper, and one 24-second operator. So this is the layout of the court, how the measurements of each thing. So I won't explain all of it. You can just have a look. It's there in our book. So basically, the main stuff is that the court is 15 by 28 meters. The dimensions of the court is 28 by 15 meters, and then the other things are more specific. So this is the main court. This is the restricted area ka uh, measurements, and this is the backboard the of the basket. Yeah, Rudra.
Yeah, so now I'll be talking about playing code. So the playing code has to be hard and flat. You can't have uneven bumps on it, like uh, you know, some of us like our basketball court, the old one. Yeah, so it can't have bumps on it, and then its length has to be 28 meters and breadth has to be 15 meters. So there can't be any obstructions from 2 meters of the boundary line. So all the end lines, all the players sitting like the bench or the audience, it has to be away from 2 meters. And then okay, so the center line which runs to the center, it runs parallel to the sidelines. Okay, so the center lines and the sidelines are parallel, and it extends 15 centimeters. Sir, just give me 2 minutes. Beyond the sidelines. So the semicircles are measured till the free throw area. So if you see the free throw area, the semicircles will be measured from that. So it'll start from the free throw area and it'll end at the free throw area. So the semicircle, they don't go anywhere else. So all circles should be of the same color as the restricted area. So the box in the circle should be the same color. So the restricted area shall consist of the end lines, the free throw lines, and that are 3 meters apart from the midpoint of the end lines. So it's just what the restricted area is made of, the whole square, which is the end lines and the free side lines. Sorry, the lines that are 3 meters apart from the midpoint of the end lines. So I'll explain that later with the diagram. Then no charge zones include two parallel lines and one semicircle. So the no charge zone has a radius of 1.25 meters, and then the 3 point lines, uh, they are marked only near the opponent's basket. Yeah,
It's the whole
next,
part except for
the opponent's
the
basket.
the area inside the 3 point line. Everywhere except for that is a 3 point field goal area. Okay, so each team should not have more than 12 players entitled to play in that match. The team can have a coach. Team should have a coach and an assistant coach if they want, and maximum of 5 team followers can are allowed to sit on the bench with the team. A substitute player can is made a player when the official summons a substitute, like when the substitute is called by the official, or substitute of the team requests to be substituted with a player sometime. Uniforms. So the t-shirts of the players should be the same dominant color front and back, and their shirts should be tucked into their shorts. The short should also be the same color, should be the same dominant color front and back, but it doesn't have to be the same as the t-shirt. The undergarments that they wear, if they extend below the shorts, they're allowed if the color is the same as the shorts, and all in ones are allowed.
Yeah, so the duties of a captain. So the captain, he represents the team, and the captain designated by the coach itself. So okay, the captain, he has to communicate with the officials to gather information about the game, like what's the score, or how many fouls are done by this player, so like that. So and in case of protest against game results, the captain must inform the referee. So yeah, and so the protest, it means that if you're not satisfied with the game results, you can protest. So the referee will look into the game results and the score sheet. So and then in the end, the captain must sign the score sheet in case of the protest. Yeah. So the game. So the game, it has 4 periods of 10 minutes, and it has 2 breaks, 2 minute cut, 2 breaks between the first and second quarter, and third and fourth quarter. And then for extra periods also, you have 2 minutes ka break before the extra periods. So there's 20-minute interval before the game for warm up and everything. And then yeah, so the interval begins 20 minutes before the game, and interval also begins when the game clock is sound at the end of the interval. Yeah.
End of the game period.
Sorry, end of the game period. Yeah, and then the interval ends when the ball is legally tapped on jump ball, so like the start of the game, and the ball is legally touched after throwing in the beginning of every period, because you have to start with the throwing. Yeah. So if the score is tied at the fourth quarter, there is extra time for 5 minutes each. And a foul committed at the end of the period, the free throws will be given after the time is over. So if the score is tied after free throws, all the fouls committed are administered before the start of extra time. Yeah. So next.
So the beginning of a period, so a beginning of the time of the game starts when the ball is legally tapped by a jumper during jump ball, which is at the start of the game, and also when the ball is legally touched after throw-in by one of the players, any of the players. So anytime else when the game starts with a throw-in, then it's necessary for 5 players to be there for in order for a game to begin. So the first team, which is like the home team or whatever, will be seated on the left side of the scorer's table. So their team bench will be on the left side of the scorer's table, and the away team will be on the right side. But if they if they negotiate with each other, they can choose, they can decide to switch. Okay. And before the first and the third quarter, the team is allowed to warm up on the opponent's court. Sorry, the spelling is wrong, but they're allowed to warm up on the opponent's court, which is like they can shoot at the opponent's basket and things like that. And at after halftime, they switch sides, so they switch the benches and they switch the sides of shooting. And but for extra periods, how many ever extra periods are there, they continue shooting. Each team continues shooting at the same basket they were shooting in the fourth quarter, and the period ends when the game clock signal sounds for showing that that's when the period ends.
Yeah. So this status of the ball. So when is the ball live, considered live or dead? So it's considered live when it is legally tapped during a jump ball at the start of the game, or when when a foul is done and you need a jump ball to do it. Like then a ball is at a disposal of a thrower during free throw and throw in. So when someone is taking a free throw and a throw in, when they throw it and now then the ball is in play or live. So ball is dead when a field goal or free throw is made. So when someone scores a basket, the ball is considered dead. And then when the official blows the whistle, so like at the end of a period or foul or something like that. So and the ball is not going to enter the basket after the free throw, which is followed by a further penalty. So it is also considered dead when the game clock sounds the end of a period, and it is also considered dead on the violation. So 24-second device and the 8-second device and the 3-second device. Yeah. So the ball is in flight and is touched by a player of either team after. So this is again a condition. This is not a point for the dead. So the ball is in flight when the official blows his whistle and it's touched by a player of any team uh, of either team. So then when the game clock signal sounds for end period, the violations. So the 3 second, 24, and 8. And a foul committed by anyone, then the score.
This is all when it's dead, when the ball is considered to be dead. So scoring, we all know. Free throw, for one free throw we get 1 point. If you shoot from the 2 point field, you get 2 points. If you shoot from the if you shoot beyond the 3 point line, you get 3 points. And if you accidentally score own basket, then 2 points are rewarded to the captain of the opponent team. But if the basket is intentional, then no points are credited to anyone, and it's considered a violation, and the position of the ball is given to the opponent team. And also, if the entire ball is forced through the basket from below, so if you throw the ball through the basket from below and it comes back, it's a violation, and the ball is given to the next team. A throw in is a player taking the throw in should not take more than 5 seconds to throw the ball. He should not step onto the court if the ball is still in his hands. It balls it should he should not chuck the ball outside of bounds. So if he's on one side, he shouldn't throw it out to the other side. He should not touch touch the ball on the court before. Yeah, so if a player is not allowed to throw the ball on court and then come into the court and catch that ball and start playing. If he, so he has to pass the ball to someone else and he can only touch it once another player has come in contact with it. So, and it's also not allowed to directly throw the ball into the basket from outside, from a throw in. That's also not allowed. And from the designated place, so wherever the foul has been committed and wherever the place for the throw in is, he should not move more than 1 meters to either side. He can go back as far as the conditions are, how much ever the stadium or the court allows. He can go as far back as he wants to, but sideways it should not be more than 1 meter. The throw-in, while throwing, the other players should not have any of their body parts over the boundary line, so they can't extend their arms on towards the player and if the area out of the if the area outside the lines outside the boundary lines is less than 2 meters, then the player should not be closer than 1 meter from the player who's taking the throw in. So he has some place to pass the ball. Yeah, Rudra.
Yeah, so timeouts. So, so each timeout is for 1 minute, and the timeout is granted at a timeout opportunity. So each game will have a specific time where a team can take a timeout if they want to. So, and when does a timeout opportunity begin? So it begins when the ball is dead and the clock is stopped. So something like a outside, something when the ball is outside or a foul. Then they can also take a timeout when the ball becomes dead following the free throw. So if someone has taken a free throw and the game has started, like the referee hasn't whistled, then that's when you can take a timeout. So you can also take a timeout for when the non-scoring team a field goal is scored.
So when they have been scored against, that
Yeah.
that team can take a timeout.
Yeah. So then the opportunity of the timeout ends when the ball is at the disposal of a player for free throw or throw in. So it's basically when a person is about to take a free throw or a throw in, you can't take timeouts there. So so timeouts they're given there are two timeouts for the first half. So there's the first and second quarter, and three timeouts for the second half. So for third and fourth quarter, and there's one timeout for every extra period. And the unused timeouts they are not carried to the extra period because it's you can say it's kind of like a privilege given to them, and if they don't take it, it's not carried on. Yeah, and the timeout may be also permitted if the game clock is stopped after a field goal in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or an extra period. Yeah,
Okay, so substitution. So a team can substitute their players during only during a substitution opportunity. A substitution opportunity is when the ball is dead, the game clock is stopped, and the officials conversation with the scorer is over. Ball becomes dead after a successful free throw. So after the shots of a foul, when the ball becomes dead, for the non-scoring team, in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter and every extra period, so any team who has been scored against can substitute their players. Substitution opportunity ends, so you can no more substitute your players once the ball is in the hands of a player for free throw or throw in. The player or substitute cannot leave or re-enter the game. So once a player has been substituted, he cannot leave, or the person who's come out cannot re-enter the game unless the team has fewer than five players. Like any reason, if one player gets injured or anything, the other that or the player entitled to free throw due to a correction of an error is on the bench. I really don't understand this point, but I think a player, I don't know, sir,
It's
can
it's
you
it's like a person who's about to take a free throw, and there's some error caused, and somehow he's on the bench after being substituted. He has to substitute back, take the free throw, and if he wants to continue playing, he can. If he doesn't, he has to after the free throw get substituted back.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, but
And
it's very rare that this happens because it's it's a misunderstanding which doesn't happen regularly.
yeah, and the scoring team is not allowed to substitute a player after they score in the last 2 minutes of the last quarter or the last 2 minutes of any other quarter. If you score in the last 2 minutes of the game, you're not allowed to substitute your players. Yeah.
So 3 second rule. So the players, they shall remain in the opponent's restricted area for not more than 3 seconds. So if they stay more than 3 seconds, then his team, when his team has the control of the ball, they lose the ball, so it goes to the other team. So the allowance of the player. So a 3 second rule is not counted when the player is attempting to leave restricted area. Okay, and it's not counted when the player inside the restricted area uh, is for more than 3 seconds when a teammate is shooting. So if a person is shooting and the player is inside the restricted area for more than 3 seconds, and his teammate shoots, the 3 second rule is not counted there. So the 3 second rule is also not counted if someone dribbles in the restricted area to attempt a shot after having been there for less than 3 seconds. And to establish oneself outside restricted area, both the player's feet must be placed on the floor outside restricted area. So and apparently you can have it halfway also. So that is not counted as 3 second rule. Yeah.
8 second rule is so basically when your team gains control of a ball after at any point, like after a basket or at the start of a play period or whatever, whenever your team gets control of the ball, they must take the ball to their front court into the opponent's half before 8 seconds are over. So this period will continue with how many ever seconds are left. When the ball is given back to the team who had the control for a throw in. So that could happen because ball's gone out of bounds, or player of the same team has gotten injured, or jump ball situation, or double foul. So in any of these cases, if the is returned back to the same team who had the control of the ball previously, they will have to take the ball to the front court within the seconds left over from their 8 seconds. 24
Yeah.
seconds.
So 21st second rule. So a 21st second rule. So a team, when it gains control of a live ball, they must attempt to shoot within 24 seconds. If they don't, the ball is rewarded to the opponent. So a shot is considered when the ball leaves a player's hand before the 25-second clock sound, and it is also considered after release. The ball must not touch the ring or must touch the ring or enter the basket. That's when the shot is counted. So if the 21st second signal is sound when the ball is in air, it is discredited. If the ball touches the ring, no violation. It is also discredited when the ball enters the basket, no
It's
violation. The field goal
invalid.
is counted. So it's basically, so when the ball is in air and the 24-second clock sounds, if it goes in, then the basket is counted. If it touches the ring, nothing counted. So it's like example. It's like when the buzzer sounds and you shoot. So if it goes in, you get the point. If it doesn't, it's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, so personal foul is a contact foul. So if there is a contact foul with if a person commits a contact foul with one of his opponents, then that's a personal foul which is charged against that player. So a player is not allowed to block, hold, push, block, charge, trip, or impede the progress of another player by all of those by extending out his a hand, arm, elbow. So basically, you can't do anything abnormal to stop another player from moving somewhere or doing something. So yeah, they're not allowed to bend in abnormal positions outside of their cylinders. So if they do that and if they hit another player, then it's a personal foul. Or and if they a personal foul is when they indulge in in any rough or violent play.
Yeah. So a penalty. So a penalty is caused when a person does a personal foul against a player. So if a non-shooting person is fouled, so someone who's not shooting a lot with the ball, the game is resumed with a throw-in by non-offending team from the place nearest the infraction. So so they get a throw-in from the nearest place. So the nearest place where the foul is occurred. So that's like